And I now give the speaking opportunity to the Office of the Public Defender, Ombudsman of Georgia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm honored to have the opportunity to represent Public Defender of Georgia and share information as well as the concerns related to the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities in Georgia. Just a quick note, the PDO is an A-status national human rights institution which supervises the protection of human rights and freedoms in Georgia. The PDO has been appointed as an independent mechanism for monitoring, promoting, and protecting the implementation of the CRPD. The office had been very active and gathered valuable information and number of recommendations concerning implementation of the convention. As naturally being in my capacity as a representative on NHRI, I will more focus on challenges existing in the process of implementation of the convention. It's also important to mention that only recently the UNCRPD committee has reviewed Georgia's initial report and submitted relevant recommendations to the state. The PDO represented actually alternative information, and many of our recommendations has been reflected in the committee's approach, and it's a huge tool for us to continue advocating for required changes. Despite very positive and important steps taken by government towards harmonization of legislation with the UNCRPD and adoption of the law of Georgia on the rights of persons with disabilities, challenges still remain in practice. Despite the relevant obligation, there is no developed long-term strategy and a separate action plan for the protection of the rights of persons with disabilities. The General Human Rights State Strategy for 2022 to 2030 does not fully cover all aspects of human rights protection of persons with disabilities, and detailed action plan must be adopted as soon as possible with engagement of the persons with disabilities. Despite the changes, as I said, some problems are still faced in practice. Actually, the state has to take all measures to reflect in practice the positive legal regulations that have been adopted for persons with disabilities, and a lot of course, engagement and involvement of the persons with disabilities in decision-making have to be ensured. When I talk about the problems in practice, I mean accessibility of physical environment, accessibility to medical services due to lack of adapted facilities, including sexual and reproductive health, also introduction of biopsychosocial model, lack of access to information, as no information accessibility standard has been created so far. Persons with disabilities are prevented from receiving complete and quality information in a proper form. Equality is not guaranteed because of low awareness on the rights of persons with disabilities, existing stigma, especially toward persons with a mental health problem, lack of supporting and individualized services, and etc. Inclusive education, preparing children with disabilities placed in state care to live independently, support recipient and support this program, despite very important reform of legal capacity implemented in Georgia in 2015, equal recognition before the law.
Thank you for your statement.